You're listening to the Rise Above podcast, the only podcast on the planet with a mission to help you live a free and uncommon life. Here's your host, Greg Smith.
All right, yes. Welcome. Thank you again for joining me today. This is the Rise Above podcast, and you are listening to the FitPros series. This is the third episode of the series. My name is Greg Smith, and I believe if you desire uncommon freedom in business and in life, it starts with creating a champion's mindset from within. So today's episode, I'm going to share with you, if you haven't been listening, just so you know, the first episode of this series, I talk about my journey of becoming a fitness professional over 11 years ago, and ultimately the struggles that I went through to truly be able to turn this into something that actually pays me while still helping people. Because far too often, I see too many fitness professionals that are struggling to make ends meet. And it's not because they don't have a big heart. It's just because they're missing just a few key things. And so I share my story in episode number 1. Then episode number 2, I dive into really what has been one of the most successful strategies for me as a business owner, but also for all of the other people that I've consulted and strategized with throughout the years. And it's a strategy that really, in my mind, I'm like, wow, this is so simple. Yet, when I ask most fitness professionals if they're doing anything like it, the answer is typically no. So go back and listen to episode number 2 for sure if you just want to get into the meat and potatoes. But otherwise, I'd highly suggest episode 1, then 2, and then this one. So we have talked about the 3 ways that you can make more money as a fitness professional so far. And so the first way is to get more clients. The second way is to charge more money for your services or your time. And the third way is to get customers to exchange money with you more frequently. And we can do this through additional services and products and amenities. And I'm going to share some of those strategies today. On the very last episode, what I did share was how to get more clients effectively for almost next to nothing. All right. And so you're definitely going to want to check that out, especially if you're somebody who's just starting out, or maybe you're just sick of wasting money on ads that never produce anything through Facebook. And I actually share the number one place, if you are going to spend money on advertising, that you should spend money in that episode. So go back and listen to that. So I hit that highly, the way number 1, because that's where many fitness professionals think they should spend time and focus. So I spent time and I teach that. However, that's not the first thing that I would do if I had a pre-existing business or clientele. If I needed an immediate cash flow injection, I would look at number 1, which is number 2 on my list here, charging more money, raising my rates. If you have not raised your rates in the past few years, then you are doing yourself a disservice, okay? There is a thing of, it's a real world thing. It's called inflation. And so you should be raising your prices along with the value. If the value of the dollar is going down and inflation's going up and you're charging the same money that you charged 5 years ago per your hour or per your time, then you're losing money. You're making less money today in the grand scheme of things than you were then. There's a very effective way to do this. You can do a raising your rates campaign. And I've done that very successfully within my own business. I've helped many other fitness professionals do the same thing. You do have to do it very strategically. And there's a specific way of doing it to running this campaign that will make sense where, I kid you not, most of the people that I deal with get next to no kickback when they raise their rates. And their clients are almost happy and excited to pay them more money for their services. Now, that is assuming that you run a great business and you provide great value and you have a great equity within that customer relationship, okay? But raising your rates, a lot of times, that's the last thing that every fitness professional wants to do when I consult with them is they're so scared to raise their rates. And so I would tell you that's the very first thing that I would do. And ultimately, all of those that I work with, if they don't take my advice and do it first thing, they typically come back within 6 months to a year, and then they're finally ready to do it because they've seen my other strategies work. And so they trust that my raising the rates campaign would work too, and it does. So I would do that. Now, let's focus on getting customers to exchange money with us more frequently. Now, this is what's very important is in order to market and advertise efficiently, we have to know what the lifetime value is of our customer. And what that means is essentially not to commoditize our customer, but you do have to know, quote unquote, how much money that person is worth as a customer over the lifespan of them doing business with you. So as an example, and that's just it. I mean, you hopefully are running a business. And if you are running a business, then you need to understand your numbers, and money is involved in that. And so what we have to look at, let's say that you got somebody at $150 per month, okay? And they are with you for 10 months on average. That person, and that's the only stuff that they ever buy from you, is just the monthly membership to your boot camp or CrossFit, Orange Theory, whatever it may be, yoga studio, etc. So that means that person effectively, their value is $1,500. That's what it comes out to. So if somebody's with you for 10 months, they pay you $150 every single month, and then they typically leave, then their lifetime value is worth $1,500. Okay. So that means that if we know that for a fact, we can do two things. We can either try to increase that, or we can just be content with it. I want to increase it. I want that person to interact with me more often. These people already like, know, and trust you. So the key is to understand that there are different customers or clientele that's within your business. It's like an airplane. People pay. Okay, people are going from point A to point B, so they're paying for the same base service, which is to fly from one place to another. However, people are willing to pay different prices for different experiences within that ride. So you have economy, you have economy plus, and then you have business, and then first class. And so people are paying for the bigger chair, and people in first class may be paying literally 10x what somebody in economy is paying, and they're happy to do so because of what they're getting out of what they see as value of the bigger chair, the free drinks, the priority boarding, etc. And here's my point to that is those businesses, airlines specifically, are smart enough to understand that they can never collect that if they didn't offer it. Okay. So you have clients right now who are willing and want to invest into a higher program or a better offer that you could have, but you may not be providing it. All right. And so, as an example, this may be, I do jujitsu, so let's use that as an example. A lot of professors will do one-on-one training. And let's say that one-on-one training might be $100 per hour. And the way that most of them work is they typically have a membership, let's just call it $100 per month, to be at the jiu-jitsu, to be at the academy. And so you're paying the $100 per month and that's it. However, if you want to, at any given time, you could call them up and schedule a one-on-one for $100. And that's fine. You provide that. That's good for you that you have that as an option. However, if you wanted to systematize that, what I would suggest is you take it, and you could do this as a personal trainer as well. Let's say you do boot camp, CrossFit, Orange Theory, let's say you do yoga, etc. What you do is you have your base membership, and you add this one little thing. You say, hey, just so you know, we have this other option, this other membership that includes 2 one-on-one sessions every month plus our regular base rate. This is something that and I'm going to talk to my guy today at 12:30 about this, but if he offered this and said, hey, it's normally $100 per every session and your membership is $100 for the month, what I'm going to do for $247, so I'm going to knock $50 off, is for $247 a month, you're going to get your academy membership plus you're going to get 2 one-on-one sessions with me, but you have to use those sessions within a month. Now, not everybody is going to use those sessions. Hopefully they do. You don't want to rip somebody off, but as a trainer, you can't allow somebody to prepay and then this is a problem I see with training. Somebody will pay for something and then they don't use their sessions up within a certain amount of time. And they come back 6 months later and they say, hey, I still have sessions from you. No, you have to put a time limit on it. So what I'm saying is you could have the next tier of membership for that person could be the base membership plus an additional 1, 2, or 3 one-on-one sessions throughout the month. And you could lock that in and guarantee those sessions instead of hoping that they'll come to you and ask for those. Now, many trainers who do, group type stuff, semi-private boot camps, and you may not want to do this yourself if you're the business owner, but you might have some teammates that are trainers who would, especially in a CrossFit model. I see this where, ideally, because there's so many people that struggle with so many different movements, and they would highly benefit after they do like your onboarding process, or maybe you have a foundations, and now we have like Olympic coaching sessions and specialty things, but maybe somebody could really use some one-on-one time with one of your coaches, and your coach, you pay them very well. So maybe you pay them, $60 for that hour and you charge the person $80. I don't know what it is. It depends on where you live, demographics and all of those things. But my point is you can contract that out as a trainer. So back to these couple different models, because I don't want to go on too long today, but this is very important. It's very important because most trainers only provide one thing, and that's either their hourly rate or their monthly rate. And that's it. They might have some t-shirts in the background, maybe have some supplements. They might have some hats or whatever it might be. But those things aren't the end all be all. So I would start looking at different membership tiers that you could do that somebody who might be that first class person in the plane would be willing to invest into. And in return, you're increasing the lifetime value of that customer to your business.
Are you someone who wants to live life on your own terms? Do you dream of having more time to spend doing the things you love? Then download your copy of The Freedom Formula absolutely free at www.riseabovepodcast.com. What are you waiting for? Go to www.riseabovepodcast.com to get your free copy of The Freedom Formula.
And so you got to come up with something that's good. But for me, I love that model where you have let's say you're doing a boot camp or your jujitsu or even Krav Maga or even yoga. I think yoga would be a phenomenal, because a lot of times in yoga, you have a packed studio, especially hot yoga. You got a packed studio and the yogi's up in the front and they're not really walking around and really taking time to focus on somebody's form. And yoga is one of those things that you can definitely mess up pretty quickly depending on your body and flexibility and all those things. And so some one-on-one yoga time, and I've had it, can drastically increase your yoga game, okay? And same thing can happen with self-defense type businesses along with CrossFit or series, etc. So look at packaging some of that together with a higher membership. Along with that, of course, you should have some t-shirts, and you should be selling those t-shirts for minimal profit. And that way you're getting people to be a walking, talking billboard for you. You want to give people the lowest barrier to entry to walk around with your brand on their chest or on their leg or on their head, whatever apparel you may be providing. But the issue with apparel is typically a one-time sale until it runs out. Now, granted, my jiu-jitsu shirts, I have one of every color. I have a hat. Like, that's just the way that I am. I'm the guy that buys one of everything. Some people only buy one t-shirt, and they'll wear that t-shirt until it's raggedy, stinks, and has a hole in it, and then they're forced to buy another one, okay? So those things are typically a one-time or very minimal purchases throughout the year. So you definitely want to have them, but don't rely on them as an additional source of income. Look at those as a marketing expense, okay? And if you do it right, you just get paid a little bit of money on those materials, but you're getting the branding. And that's what apparel should be looked at, is branding and marketing for your business to get the word out. Now, where the real money can be made, especially, and this is what I'm a big fan of when you talk about people exchanging money with you more often, is implementing something that is consumable, and it's something that somebody wants to purchase every single month, and that is supplementation. Now, you may or may not be a fan of supplementation, but the same theory, that consumable or residual aspect, is the same tip that I just gave you to adding the different membership tiers, because now instead of $100 a month, somebody might spend $247. It's a consistent, reliable income over the lifetime value of that customer. But supplementation, this is something where, The fact is it's, right now it's 2018, almost 2019. People are using supplements. They're taking vitamins. They're having some type of meal shake, a protein supplement. They're, maybe a fish oil. Like there are products that people are taking. Statistically, 85% of all Americans take some type of supplement. So wouldn't it make sense? Because typically you either carry your own line right now, and I'm going to explain how to choose the line that you align yourself with, but you either have a line right now that you're not really making that much money from, and I'll explain why, or you don't have a line at all. And so the key is to find something, a line that you agree with and that has products that you truly see value. Because if you're going to carry a product, that product has to change the life of your customer. You can't just carry a product to carry a product, okay? That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about carrying a product that can help your customer get better results quicker. Because I know, as being a fitness pro, that the one thing that is the hardest to do with somebody is to dial in their nutrition. It's easy to get somebody to come to work out 3 times a week, 4 times a week. That's great. They're with you for an hour each one of those times. But you have 160, 8 hours throughout a week altogether. So if they're only with you for 4 hours out of the week, guess what? That's a lot of time for them to go off the deep end and stop off at Krispy Kreme donuts on the way home. All right. And so helping somebody with their nutrition is key. And one of the ways that you can do that is through supplementation. And so finding a brand that you can align yourself with is very important. Now, the thing is, putting supplements up on a shelf behind the front desk is not going to sell. Unless there's words behind it, it will not sell. And this is where having systematic onboarding, a system for onboarding people where you do a nutrition consultation with each person who comes into your business. And if you're not able to do that yourself because you have so many clients, we can do that in a seminar setting, and then providing supplements to supplement and fill the gaps that they're not getting. That's what's key. So having a systematic way, which goes back to my referrals and everything else I talked about in episode 1, episode 2, or, part 1, part 2 of this series, you should have a system on implementing this. You should be running challenges throughout your group with implementing this. And so one of those may just be, something where you're challenging people to do a meal shake for breakfast for 30 days because most people don't eat breakfast. And that's a way that you can start to implement it. Having nutrition consultations when people come in, that's a way that you can start to supplement it. But I am a big component and a big fan of having a direct selling product within your business. I don't necessarily care what the product is, but there are so many benefits to having a direct sales model that you are selling. Now, hear me clearly, because this is where a lot of people, a lot of FitPros lose, is they don't want to be a part of a network marketing company or direct sales company because of the opportunity. Well, I'm not telling you to share the opportunity with your clients. What I'm saying is their products can be phenomenal products, and the way that their business model is set up is phenomenal for what you're doing, and here's why. It's a product that people cannot buy at big box stores. It's a product that typically they have to get through a distributor, and so they're getting it through you. And so if it goes back to what I was talking about before with number 2 and part 2, was you don't always compete on price. If you're always competing on price and somebody can go buy the supplement that you have on your shelf over at Walmart for a lesser price or bodybuilding.com for a lesser price, you will always lose that battle no matter how much your customer likes you. They're going to save money and do what's right for their family. And so having a direct sales model where it's the same price across the board, but they have to know a distributor makes sense for you. And then also having one that has a preferred customer club where somebody can enroll, kind of like Sam's Club or Costco, and link themselves to you, but get a discount on the product. That is imperative, because what you want to do is empower your client to be ordering product from themselves so you don't have to stock it on the shelf. Ultimately, it gets shipped directly to them. And if they are only with you for 10 months and they leave and let's say that they move, let's say they're in the military, they get restationed, or let's say that they just don't want to train with you anymore, but they still like the products that you got them on, and they're still ordering through that preferred customer club that's still linked to you, and you will still earn income from that so long as that person continues to order down the road. I have customers from literally 10 years ago, 11 years ago, that became preferred customers of the product line that I carry, and they are still using product today. I no longer have that facility. I've moved. And so those people back in that town are still buying product, and I still earn income from it today, 10 years later. And that's the power of having the right company within your business. And so all that to say is I want you to start thinking about different ways that you can get your current customers to exchange money with you more frequently, only so that you are providing more value for that money. We're not just talking about how to make more money from your customer base. I'm talking about how to do it in an ethical way by providing more value. And what is it that you can provide that is more value? Is it additional services, right? Is it a higher level value of service of what you already do, like we talked about earlier in this episode? Is it apparel, which is free advertising for you, so long as that people are paying for their merchandise? And is it some type of nutrition program with a strategic supplement company that comes within and creates another form of residual income or monthly income for you, and it adds to your bottom dollar? Whatever that might be, that's where I would highly suggest you to spend some time and some focus. But very first, I'd have you go back and listen to part 2 and implement those strategic referral concepts and the number one way that I would spend money on advertising first. That being said, if you ever want to reach me, it's Greg at riseabovepodcast.com. That's Greg at riseabovepodcast.com. I don't take on too many clients. Typically at this point, you have to be a great fit. But if you ever want to do a strategy call, I would be more than happy, because I appreciate you as a listener. I acknowledge that. And I know that I don't take that lightly. I look to always provide value for you in this podcast. But if you want to do a 15-minute session, you can always just email me. My assistant will get that set up. And we'll do a 15-minute free strategy call to see where it is that you could plug some holes within your business, or maybe you're looking to get your fitness business started in the first place. So with that, that is it for my FitPro series. I hope that you guys found value in it. And if you did, I would love to get a review, maybe 4 or 5 stars, whatever it is. But more importantly, I love written reviews to where people express the value or what they got out of a specific episode on iTunes. So I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a great week. Take care. Until next time, God bless.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.